Greetings to all our precious viewers. Shalom. Welcome to Choices. On behalf of Choices, to the family of Brother Maxwell Tom, we express our sympathy on the passing of your loved one, a precious soil of the land. Our prayers are with you. We want you to be strong. Now, I am sure that we're all conscious that we have to make some serious decisions that will have major consequences for our benefit or for our downfall. You know, we are living in a crisis situation. I'm referring to the coronavirus epidemic that we have no control over. We are witnessing every day hundreds of persons who are contracting this virus. In our own country, we have over 600 persons who are already dead, and the number is still climbing at a fast rate. If you haven't taken your vaccine as yet, please do so before it is too late. Safety first, safety in the middle, and safety at the end. We're appealing to you, let good sense prevail. There's so many voices that are out at this time, both negative and positive. Listen to the voice of God and make the right decision and live. You know, life is a gift from God. Hear it. This is our appeal to you from the set of choices. God bless you. God continue to bless beautiful Guyana. Thank you.
You know, Guyana is a small nation by comparison to other nations around the world. And what we've been seeing in terms of how the COVID virus would have been affecting the people in this land need not occur, at least in this kind of, in this proportion way that we've been seeing it. Now we have 700, over 700 now. I think this morning I learned that we have 701 persons now that are now dead. 133 persons at Liliendal, and I understand beds are running out. 31 persons in ICU, intensive care unit. And once you go to intensive care unit, it means that you're in a bad shape. And more than likely, a number of persons will not be coming out of ICU. 3,000 persons now positive. Those who are in self-isolation and those who are in quarantine, 3,000. These numbers would have risen considerably because we are told that there's a Delta variant that is sweeping nations across the world. It so happens that as a nation, we fell into that situation. If these numbers do not cause people to change their ways, how they behave, how they conduct themselves, I don't know what else will. And therefore, I think now more than ever, we have to see the importance of being vaccinated. The other day, Dr. Carpenter released some figures in a pie chart that basically tells us that the people who are dying are the unvaccinated. It is also clear by many organizations that vaccination is not the only solution to curbing this virus, because we would have seen that very small amounts of people too may have been who had the vaccine, but very minute number, very minute, which makes a case to the vaccine. But we also need to protect ourselves by still observing those protocols, by still wearing our face masks, still social distancing, still sanitizing, because that's the only way. You know, I know there've been lots of schools of thought on the vaccine, on the virus, whether it is airborne or not, and it's just found on surfaces or people carrying it around. But one thing I know, I believe a particular gentleman said that the vaccine, the virus doesn't get put and walk, but people do. And so as people begin to move around in a callous kind of fashion, they're carrying this thing with them to homes, to schools, wherever. And so the time is now where we have to have a unified approach in terms of how we tackle and deal with this problem. There is no place for division now. As long as we continue to be divided, people will continue to die in this country if persons do not decide to say, look, let us speak with one voice and tackle this thing frontally. People are going to die. I don't know what else got to be told to people. People are still coming on the radio and calling programs and making statements that they cannot substantiate because nobody is speaking to them, is telling them that what you're saying is not correct. So here is where, you know, we need the village elders, we need those respected people in communities and the organizations in the churches, the mosques, the temple, wherever you are. Here is now is the time when we must be speaking with one voice to curb this kind of thing that we see happening in our country. We cannot afford to continue to lose our people. Now that thing has gone to people in their 30s. First, we used to hear that as old people, we understand that. Now, lots of young persons are dying because of this kind of, you know, approach, not taking what is happening seriously. Gentlemen.
You know, you mentioned old people. You know, when it started, old persons were susceptible to it. But now we have in the younger generation being affected. When I was a child or a child, you know, we got tetanus vaccine and meant to protect you from that. And the thing I used to do as a child, growing up in West Kanji, Sandhurst, used to run about quite a lot in the yard, playing cricket, different things, without anything on my feet. And I got stuck several times with nails, sometimes rusty nails. And one of the remedy that my old grandmother would often insist that I use, even though I was vaccinated, she would take soft grease and put it, or, you know, try to open the wound a bit, put soft grease there, use a match. And those of you who might have, you know, listening who or watching this program, who might have experienced that, I mean, I'm burning the soft grease into that wound there. It was very painful. And I mean, even you scream, sometimes you used to, you know, I would get a lash your mouth, shut your mouth, because it was meant to add an additional layer of protection, even though I had the tetanus vaccine. The point I'm making in all of this here is that, like you suggested, Dr. Hudson, even though you may have been vaccinated, there's a call here for you and I to still observe the protocols that were in place before. What am I referring to? Sanitization. I'm referring here to wearing of a mask properly and social distancing, because the 700 and something plus persons we have in this country, and to lose the numbers that we have been told already, it's not good. It's not going in the right direction. So I want to make a special appeal here. Don't throw away the old remedy in terms of the protocols that we had from the inception. Intensify the use of that, even though you are vaccinated, and let us live healthy lifestyle.
Dr. Lee, may I also add, as we continue to talk about concerted approach, and you mentioned terms like remedies and old people, so to speak, there is a plethora of home remedies that we have come to know and practice over the years, and has a place for as a fight against this virus. And we really need to, as a proactive approach, continue to apply these remedies as a proactive approach. Let us continue to encourage each other, those of us who know about it, tell others, so that we can not only save lives, but we can bring hope in this whole approach towards fighting this virus. Very important.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We're talking COVID. Reverend Asana, we just lost a friend, a neighbor,
Yes.
a
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
And rather than just talk numbers and talk, seem to be so impersonal, share with us briefly, because I believe that Brother Maxwell, was a valuable asset to this. Could you share a little bit about him?
Brother Maxwell, Tom is a friend, or was a friend of mine. Came to know each other through church. And he had always been fighting with me to come and join him on a radio program he had. First, he told me he was starting this radio station, that he wanted me to come and join him. I remember you were right there, Bishop. You and I went one day to do an assignment. I think was speaking about Old Year's Night service or something. I can't remember, some service. And right there, he decided that he would tell the audience that Pastor Santa will be joining him from the Monday coming. I thought it was presumptuous, but you told me, Winston, go ahead and be a blessing. And with that covering, Maxwell and I became good friends. I remember us talking on the radio about the importance of wearing a mask when COVID-19 started. I remember us talking about protecting yourself. I remember us talking about vaccination when vaccination came on board. I remember personally encouraging him to be vaccinated. I remember the day when he was going to get his first vaccination, his first jab, we will say. And I was shocked that he was unable to get his second because it wasn't available. Then I remember going on vacation, and he called me to say to me, Pastor Stan, he called me Reverend Stan. Rev, I called to let you know I'm sick. I contracted the COVID-19 virus. I remember saying to him, Max, how you got that? And then I recognized from his voice he wasn't well. So I said to him, Max, you need to take some rest and do all that you need to do. Take some rest, use the concoction, because we used to talk about the garlic and the ginger, the different things you mix. I remember it was a last Saturday evening, when I got a call late in the night from a member of management who said to me, Rev, you need to pray, really pray, because Max has just been taken to the hospital. He's complaining of not being able to breathe well, and he doesn't look good. I remember praying then, and ever since I was praying for him until I heard he died. His death shocked me. I remember talking to several folks. I got hundreds of calls. And I don't know of nobody who called me who wasn't shocked by his death, and shocked that COVID killed him, and shocked that such an asset was taken away from our environment. And they would always say, Brother Max gave us hope. He helped us. It means that COVID doesn't have a friend. No matter who you are, where you're from, if you're not careful, COVID will get you. Up to now, I still feel for my friend. I cried for him. I thanks for my bishop, who is my spiritual father, who helped me through that process. But COVID is real. And if there's one thing I will remember Max for is the hope he provided. And he will say in this particular time, Rev, once there's life, there's hope. Giving up is not an option. Giving up is not an option. And so I say to all of us, giving up is not an option, and we need to become careful, more responsible. I am vaccinated completely, but I still make boil my stuff and mix and drink it. I still wear a mask. I still demand of myself. Up to now, I still walk with my sanitizer in my pocket to sanitize my hand. And I guess we all have to do that. And we all have to encourage each other to do so.
I'm your brother, I'm your neighbor, I'm your friend. Those are the words that Max used to use. I'm your brother, I'm your neighbor, and your friend. And I used to just look forward to, to hearing that, because it came over with such peace and when I heard it, like you, Reverend Asano, I couldn't believe it that such a well-known, popular man in this country has just departed like that. Young. Max is not an old man by any standards, young man, and he is gone, and he has left all his assets, the television station, the wireless store, and so on. So this thing, it's real. I went to Facebook and I saw some comments, and some people are saying COVID is real. And, we don't have to wait until, I sympathize with the family also, his mother, yourself, and, those persons who I listened to. I remember one morning I was visiting the children at writing the National Grade 6, the National Grade 6 at the Diamonds Secondary School. And I was going through the gate, the security guard, I didn't even know the security guard knew me. So I'm trying to represent my case, why I should get into the compound. And the guard said to me, Dr. Hudson, First Assembly, right? Reverend Asana on right now. So she did not only connect me, but she connected me to you and said, you're on the air right now. And so it was really sad to hear that. And so this thing is real. This thing has taken a great man, a man who has made a lot of contributions to this country, to our society. Let me tell you, when I feel uncomfortable, even though I'm fully vaccinated, when I go home in the afternoons, I boil hot water and throw what do you call that thing? That kind of salt.
Mental crystal.
Mental crystal in the water, and I inhale that thing, and you feel a sense as though you're purifying yourself. You're sniffing. It's not cocaine, it's mental crystal, and you're sniffing this thing, and you get a good feeling, and you feel that, what, if anything was inside of my lung or whatever, I kind of clear, because you got to take these precautionary measures, because the vaccine is important, it is critical, but there are other things that we need to do if we need to survive also this crisis.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. That and Reverend Asano, those tributes were very touching and moving. I didn't know Maxwell, but I hear you. It was someone personal, and I hear you. COVID is real. So thank you for that. And I want to ask us, have we ever seen birds flying? Birds eating? Birds standing together or lying together or stooping together? Yes, we have. But have we ever seen a bird pulling each other around? Have we ever seen a bird holding on to the other bird wing or legs and pulling them around? COVID is real. And for us to defeat it, we have to find a consensus. One party can't be dragging the other one around. The birds will tumble out of the sky. They would not be successful. If they only attempt to hold on, they can't flap their wings. So we need to work together. So vaccination is an option. Home remedies is another option. Testing is another option. We need to find ways to work together. That's the only way we will do so. In where I live in Switzerland, it has the same mandate of producing a vaccine pass, they call it, not the blue book as we call it in Guyana. However, the difference is that is not the only thing. They give you options. If you want to go to church, If the church has a capacity of 50 or more, if you have 50 or less, you can go to church without a vaccine pass. If you want to go to school and your child tests positive and you don't want to test, you keep the child at home for 14 days and then you can do a test. And when they brought out these rules and more, if you want to go to a restaurant, you can sit outside. You don't have to show the vaccine pass. But if you want to go inside and museums and so on, you have to show the vaccine pass. And when they brought out these rules last week, the registration rate for vaccines skyrocketed. Why? Because they had options. It is the same thing we're trying to do in Guyana, but there's no option. So the bird cannot pull the other bird around. They will both tumble out of the sky. And this is something that we need to understand as citizens and as leaders. We need to work together. We need to find consensus. I see the newspaper said it is in Geneva, over 2,000 new registrations. In Neuchâtel, over 4,000 new registrations. So these same rules that we're implementing, the vaccination rate, registration skyrocketed because we give persons options. Let's work together, brethren. Let's work together, citizens.
Peter Sands
Excellent point.
wrote an op-ed, and I quote on the 13th of September, 2021. In this op-ed, he makes the case that vaccines as he said it, alone wouldn't defeat the variants. And I want to just quote his final paragraph. I quote, "Vaccines are our best weapon against COVID-19, but Delta has demonstrated that vaccination is not a silver bullet, and the more we treat it like one, the less it will be. Beating COVID-19 will take a sustained and comprehensive response, combining vaccines, tests, treatments, and PPEs. We can't let up on any front." Unquote, I wholeheartedly support this submission by Peter Sands. We need a consistent, comprehensive approach to take us out of this hole that we have created for ourselves. If you open your eyes, people still want to behave like if things are normal. People are resisting not just vaccination, but the wearing of masks. And even if they have a mask on their face, it is like a flag at half staff. That is not the proper way to do it. And this is a notion that we need to discuss in the factories, in the office, in the field. We need to discuss, if we're gonna beat this COVID, we need a sustained and comprehensive response. We need a combination. You heard the testimony of our brothers. We need to combine vaccines with testings, with treatments, and with PPEs. You know how I felt last night when I came off the program and had it confirmed that 9 persons, 9 Guyanese, it was announced passed. When I say last night, I mean Wednesday night. And this thing shocked me. And they said 6 of them unvaccinated, 2 partially vaccinated, and 1 fully vaccinated. That's why there's the argument for this comprehensive approach. And once we have this comprehensive approach, and all of us must sign on to this, once we have this comprehensive approach, we will be able to at least see the light at the end of the tunnel. We've been talking about Brother Max. Brother Max was a man with enormous hope. The line that he used to mention every day, several times on his gospel plane, "You're my friend, you're my brother, you're my neighbor." And I particularly like that line and commended him. Every time we met, I would say to him, "Brother Max, you're my friend, you're my brother, you're my neighbor." We need those words to resonate. And indeed, we are a brother's keeper. Let's watch out for each other. I would love to hear from Reverend Semple.
Yes, Bishop. You know, the notion of invincibility has really taken center stage. You know, the idea that you're so powerful and you cannot be defeated. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good feel. It's a good posture to have, you know, because life throws some real serious blows at us sometimes. And we need to have that inner strength to believe that we can overcome. But, you know, not to the own detriment of ourselves, where we're going to throw caution to the wind, so to speak. I mean, when we look around in society, how people are behaving, people really believe that they cannot get this thing, and they will survive if they get it. All right, you know, I gonna come out of this. It's something to think about, you know. But we need to continue to be wise. I believe the word of God says it in Proverbs 4 verse 7. It says wisdom is still the principal thing, you know, and therefore we must get it. And with all our getting, let us get understanding, and let us understand that we need to put the systems in place. We need to do exactly what we have to do in order to protect yourself. Yes, you're invincible. You can defeat anything. You are powerful, and we must encourage ourselves. But let us be wise at the same time. Let us understand that we are living in a pandemic, and let's take all the necessary precautions, because one life is too much to go down the drain. This is Choices. Thanks for being with us. Please remember to be safe. God bless you and your entire family. We love you. See you next time.
I'm Celicia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.